Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep into literally one of the most incredible stories in modern sports history. We're talking about the rise, the heartbreak, and the ultimate generational triumph of the French national football team, affectionately known as Les Bleus. If you've ever wanted to understand exactly how a modern sporting empire is built from the ground up, you're in exactly the right place.
Okay, let's kick things off with a pretty staggering number. 4. Out of the last 7 World Cup tournaments, France has reached the final 4 separate times. I mean, think about that for a second. In the hyper-competitive world of international football, that is an absolutely absurd level of consistency on the world's biggest stage. So that naturally brings us to the big question for today's explainer. How exactly did a single nation build this modern dynasty? How did they manage to seamlessly transition from the breathtaking magic of Zinedine Zidane in the late 90s all the way to the blistering, record-breaking success of Kylian Mbappé today? It really is a tale of 2 eras connected by one brilliant thread. Here is our roadmap for today. 1998 with their breakthrough first title, 2006 as a finalist, back on top in 2018 with a glorious second title, and then reaching the finals once again in 2022. Keep these 4 massive pillars in mind as we explore how they all connect.
Part 1. The Zidane Era, 1998 to 2006, the foundation of a powerhouse.
Picture the scene back in 1998. The pressure is absolutely suffocating. France is the host nation, literally the entire world is watching, and they're staring down the formidable defending champions Brazil. And yet, Les Bleus rise completely to the occasion. They pull off a dominant 3-0 victory to claim their first ever World Cup championship. The soaring emotional high that swept through the nation that day simply cannot be overstated.
So what made that 1998 run so magical? Well, you had a structurally sound team led by a fiercely determined captain, Didier Deschamps. But the true catalyst was Zinedine Zidane. He steps up and emerges as an undisputed national hero, scoring 2 massive headers in that final. And you know, those 2 goals didn't just win a game, they cemented his status as a legendary national icon forever.
But as we all know, sports are cyclical, right? Glory is usually followed by some heartbreak. Jump forward to 2006 for what was billed worldwide as Zidane's last dance. The Magic pushed them to another final, this time against Italy. But it ends in a shocking 1-1 draw and an absolutely agonizing penalty shootout loss. It was a really melancholic, dramatic end to Zidane's professional career. But, and this is super important to understand, it firmly established France, not just as a one-hit wonder, but as a consistent, world-class contender. So, a legendary generation eventually steps back, and a gap naturally opens up. Who connects these 2 golden generations? How do you pass the baton from the heroes of '98 to the superstars dominating your feats today without losing that winning DNA? The answer to that is Didier Deschamps. And he wasn't just along for the ride, he was literally the master architect of this whole transition. He achieved the incredibly rare feat of winning the World Cup as a captain back in 1998, and then orchestrating the rise of the next generation as a manager in 2018. He's the vital link, the ultimate bridge.
Part 2. The Mbappé Era, 2018 to the present, a renaissance of dominance.
Under Deschamps' steady, experienced leadership, we witnessed a total renaissance. Looking at these 2 finals side by side perfectly illustrates the cyclical nature of their success. On one hand, you have the 3-0 win in '98, led by Zidane's grace. Fast forward exactly 20 years later, and you've got a thrilling 4-2 victory over Croatia, this time led by Mbappé and backed by a phenomenal new squad featuring massive stars like Antoine Griezmann and Paul Pogba.
But we absolutely have to talk about the breakout star of that 2018 tournament in Russia. 19. That was Kylian Mbappe's age. I mean, while most 19-year-olds are just trying to figure out how to do their own laundry, here was an emerging prodigy performing with literally zero fear on the most pressure-filled stage in global sports.
To really put the historical weight of his performance into perspective, consider this. In that 4-2 victory, Mbappé became the first teenager since the legendary Pelé to score in a World Cup final. Just think about the gravity of that for a second. He didn't just help win a trophy, he etched his name next to the greatest of all time before he was even out of his teens. Crazy, right?
And the story just accelerates from there. Fast forward to 2022, and the sheer electricity of this team surges again. And it all comes down to this number, 3.
In what a lot of people rightfully call the greatest World Cup final ever played, against Argentina, Mbappé scored a truly historic hat trick, single-handedly dragging his team to a 3-3 draw in extra time. Now yes, France agonizingly lost that match on penalties, but that unbelievable 3-goal performance definitively confirmed Kylian Mbappé as the absolute primary star of the modern era. He proved beyond a doubt that 2018 was just the beginning.
Part 3, a modern football dynasty. Let's synthesize the success. The architecture of this empire was built by an absolutely legendary cast of characters. You've got Didier Deschamps, the essential bridge spanning decades as captain and manager, Zinedine Zidane, the iconic hero who really sparked the flame, Kylian Mbappé, the prodigious star carrying the torch today, and of course, we can't forget legends like Thierry Henry, recognized as one of the nation's greatest ever forwards, whose excellence bridged the gap between these eras. Every single one of these guys played a critical role.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's all about this completely unmatched record, reaching 4 out of the last 7 World Cup finals, securing 2 titles, maintaining unbelievable continuity through Deschamps, and seamlessly transitioning to a vibrant new era of stars. What you really should take away from this is that sustained excellence over decades is what truly defines France as a modern powerhouse. It's not about just getting lucky once, it's about engineering greatness time and time again.
Which leaves us with one final provocative thought to chew on as we wrap up today's explaining. When you look at the sheer magnitude of France's generational dominance over the last quarter century, can any other nation out there truly match this modern dynasty? Thank you so much for learning with me today, and keep questioning what makes the greats truly great.